Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack complex information to give you the insights you need.
Today, we're really digging into Amazon's advertising system, specifically a concept called ranking memory.
Right, and think of ranking memory as basically how Amazon remembers your past advertising performance.
Exactly. How it uses that history, your clicks, your conversions, all that stuff to influence your future ad rankings. Super critical for sellers.
It really is. So our mission today is to pull out all the strategic implications this has for you, the advertiser, based entirely on the source material we've got.
Yeah, we'll cover what it means for strategy, how things like keywords, ad types, even your seller health play a role.
And how you can actually use this understanding for, long-term success on Amazon. Let's get into it.
Okay, so maybe the best place to start is looking at how Amazon PPC is just fundamentally different from, say, traditional advertising.
Good point. So comparing Amazon PPC to something like a TV ad or a magazine spot, what are the key strategic differences advertisers need to understand right off the bat?
Well, the main thing is this focus on immediacy and data dominance. Traditional ads, they're often about broad brand awareness, right? You pay whether someone buys or not.
Yeah, casting a wide net.
Amazon PPC, though, it's laser focused on capturing intent right when someone's searching. You pay per click, which makes it incredibly efficient for driving sales you can actually measure.
And the conversion rates reflect that, don't they?
Hugely. The source says sellers report 3 to 5 times higher conversion rates from sponsored products compared to, say, Google ads. That's because people on Amazon are generally already in a buying mindset.
It's like putting your product right in front of someone who just literally asked for it.
Exactly. The targeting is just so much more precise. But the source does note these aren't mutually exclusive.
Ah, okay. They can work together.
Definitely. A modern strategy often needs to be a hybrid. You use traditional campaigns to build that broader brand equity, while PPC is there to capture the people ready to buy now.
Got it. Immediate, data-heavy, sales-focused, but still part of a bigger marketing picture. Now, Amazon's system itself isn't static. It's evolved from A9 to more complex AI. What strategic shifts does that force on advertisers?
It's a big shift because the algorithm's getting smarter, more holistic. It's looking beyond just Amazon itself now. Meaning advertisers need hybrid traffic strategies. The source actually recommends allocating about 20 to 30% of your budgets to driving trackable traffic from outside Amazon.
Like from TikTok or email lists, that kind of thing. Why is that suddenly so important?
Because the newer algorithms, like A10, give external traffic bonuses. It's a huge deal. If you can generate at least 15% of your clicks from off-Amazon sources, you could see 2 to 3 times organic ranking boosts.
Wow, 2 to 3x. That's significant.
It is. The source even quantifies it, saying that level of external traffic can be equivalent to the organic lift you'd get from an extra $15,000 in PPC spend.
$15,000 just from driving external traffic.
Yeah. And on top of that, advertisers who do this well often see about 40% lower ACOS compared to those just sticking to PPC only. Amazon's basically rewarding you for bringing new customers into their ecosystem.
That's a massive incentive. Okay, what else is critical in this evolved system?
Seller health optimization. You absolutely cannot ignore this. Keeping your metrics pristine, like an order defect rate, or ODR, below 0.5%, and getting at least 5 verified reviews per week, these are crucial.
Crucial for what specifically?
For qualifying for what the source calls evergreen status in the ranking memory system. Sellers who maintain an ODR below 1% and keep stockout frequency at or below 5% get a 20 to 30% visibility advantage.
So being a good operator directly impacts how much your ads are seen.
Directly. And that stockout piece is really important. Keeping it low, under 5% frequency, helps you retain 92% of your ranking momentum when you do restock. If you stock out often, you lose that momentum fast.
That connection between operations and ads is something people might miss. What else?
Given the AI evolution, AI tool adoption is becoming more important. The source notes that platforms using specific AI models like BERT-based keyword expansion or XGBoost bid optimizers can achieve 35% higher impression share compared to manual management.
So leaning into AI tools gives you a real competitive edge.
It seems so. Ultimately, the strategy now is about balancing algorithmic compliance, meeting these new demands for external traffic and seller health with traditional brand building.
Makes sense. Okay, let's drill down into keywords. They're fundamental, right? What's their strategic role now, especially thinking about ranking memory?
Keywords are still the absolute core for connecting buyer intent with your product, but it's more than just listing terms. The source emphasizes strategic keyword implementation.
Meaning?
Meaning you need a structure. They call it a hierarchical keyword architecture.
A hierarchy. How does that work?
Think of it like a pyramid. At the top, your primary keywords, the 2 or 3 absolute core terms. These need to be in your title.
Okay, core terms in the title.
Then secondary keywords, usually describing key features. Those go in your bullet points.
Features in the bullets.
Got it. And finally, tertiary keywords, broader terms, related concepts. Those fit into your back-end search terms.
Title, bullets, back end. How does that structure translate into ad strategy and budget allocation?
Well, the top campaigns mirror this structure in their spending. They put 50% of their budget on exact match primary keywords, high intent, high relevance.
Half the budget on the main terms, exact match.
Right. Then 30% goes to phrase match, secondary terms capturing closely related searches. And the remaining 20% goes to broad match, mostly for discovery, finding new relevant terms.
That sounds logical. Does the source say why that split works?
Yeah, it creates a relevance pyramid that aligns with buyer intent. Campaigns focusing heavily on exact and phrase match tend to see better performance.
Okay, so you structure it that way. But keywords aren't static, right? How do you keep this optimized?
Through dynamic keyword optimization. This means, first, weekly search term harvesting. You have to analyze your search query reports, cut the losers. Anything with a CTR below 0.3% is probably just wasting money. Promote the winners.
Pruning and promoting weekly.
And seasonal adjustment. You should plan to rotate 20 to 30% of your keywords quarterly to match trends. Think beach towels in spring, winter coats in fall.
Keeping it relevant to the season. Makes sense.
And one more tactic, competitor keyword assimilation. Use tools like reverse ASIN lookups, find your competitors' top keywords. Then you might actually bid on those terms, maybe even aggressively, like at 110 to 120% of their estimated CPC to challenge them directly.
Wow, okay, so actively going after their keywords. How is AI changing this keyword game?
It's pushing towards more automation and prediction. The source mentions AI-driven keyword optimization. We're looking at predictive keyword expansion tools suggesting keywords based on analyzing images or review sentiment.
Like if reviews mention comfort a lot.
Exactly. The tool might flag that comfort mentions increased 40% and suggest related keywords. It might also look at cross-category search patterns. We'll also see more auto-optimized match types.
What does that mean?
Machine learning algorithms automatically adjusting match types based on performance. So maybe moving a broad match term to phrase if its CTR hits above 0.7%, or from phrase to exact if the CVR gets above 15%. This kind of automation could cut manual work by 60% and improve ROAS.
That's a huge time saver.
It is. And don't forget voice search keyword integration. With 35% of Amazon searches now being voice-initiated, you need to think about natural language phrases, question-based keywords, even local pronunciations.
Alexa, find me kind of searches.
Right. The big takeaway is keywords are dynamic. They signal fit, feed the algorithms. Using AI here can lead to 40 to 60% improvement in advertising efficiency compared to purely manual approaches.
Okay, keywords are crucial and evolving. Let's talk about the interplay between paid ads and organic rank. They obviously affect each other, right?
Absolutely. They're deeply connected. Paid ads, especially sponsored products, drive sales velocity immediately. The algorithm sees those sales and often rewards the product with better organic ranking.
So paid success helps organic visibility.
Directly. It reinforces keyword relevance, too. When you run ads on exact match keywords and get a good CTR, you're essentially telling the algorithm, yes, this product is relevant for this term.
Training the algorithm.
Exactly. Ads targeting exact match keywords with CTRs above, say 0.5%, get prioritized. The source mentions that strong performance here validates organic relevance.
But there are downsides, right? The source mentions strategic tensions like cannibalization.
Yes, that's a key one. If your product already ranks really high organically, maybe spots 1 to 3, running ads on the same keyword can sometimes hurt you.
How so?
Because both your organic listing and your ad might show up. This can split clicks. The source gives an example. A product getting a 12% organic CTR might see that drop to 8% if a sponsored ad appears right above it. It can dilute your organic momentum.
So you need to be careful not to steal clicks from your own organic listing. Do different ad types play differently here?
They do. The source calls it ad type efficacy variations. Sponsored products are the most direct drivers of sales velocity and initial organic rank, but their organic impact lessens once your rank stabilizes.
Okay. What about the others?
Sponsored brands and video are better for overall brand visibility, but have a weaker correlation with organic rank itself. Sponsored display, focused on retargeting often off Amazon, drives extra sales but doesn't give that direct keyword feedback loop.
So a mix is probably best.
Yeah, the source suggests a balanced portfolio. Maybe 70% of the budget to sponsored products for that direct sales velocity and organic boost, and 30% to upper funnel ads like sponsored brands and display to build brand and reach without as much direct cannibalization risk.
That makes sense. And how does external traffic fit into this paid organic picture? We mentioned it earlier.
It's become crucial since around 2023 because the A10 algorithm specifically looks for external signals. If you generate at least 15% of your clicks from off-Amazon sources tracked properly, you can get those huge 2 to 3 times organic ranking boosts.
Which you said was like a $15,000 PPC budget equivalent.
Exactly. It really blurs the lines. Your off-Amazon marketing now directly fuels both your paid ad efficiency and your organic visibility. It builds that algorithmic trust.
That's a powerful motivator to get those external campaigns running.
Yeah.
Any specific operational tips for managing this interplay?
This also suggests a few optimization strategies. Use day parting. Increase your bids by 50 to 75% during peak buying hours, usually 7 to 9 p.m. local time, to maximize sales velocity when it has the biggest impact.
Concentrate spend when people are buying.
Right. Also, creative refreshes. Do this every 45 days or so. It combats creative fatigue, which can lower CTRs and hurt both paid and organic signals. And use 14-day attribution models for analysis, as recommended, to better capture the combined impact rather than longer windows that might muddy the waters.
It's about keeping things fresh and focusing impact. Okay, let's get specific about the different sponsored ad formats. How do their ranking mechanisms differ, and what are the strategic implications for each one?
Okay, each one has its own logic. Sponsored products, SP, think of these as your workhorse for direct sales. The auction is mostly keyword-driven. Your bid and relevance to that search term are key. High CTR and CVR on those keywords matter most.
So strategy for SP.
Allocate the bulk of your budget here, maybe 70%, focused on exact and phrase-match keywords that have a proven conversion history, ideally CVR of 12% or higher. Use automated bidding, and don't be afraid of high multipliers, like 300% for top of search, during those peak 7-9 p.m. hours.
Got it. SP is about nailing the keyword and the conversion. What about sponsored brands, SB?
SB is more about brand equity. The ranking considers brand metrics more heavily alongside keywords. Strategically, you should rotate creatives, especially video, frequently maybe every 14 days to avoid fatigue.
14 days for video, that's fast.
It is, but crucial for SB engagement. Also, bid higher on your own branded keywords, maybe 50% above category averages, to really own that space. Using multi-product formats and linking to your brand store are also important signals for SB success.
So SB is about reinforcing your brand presence. And sponsored display, SD.
SD is different again. It's audience-based, using behavioral targeting. It's less about the keyword someone just typed and more about their browsing history, even off Amazon.
How do you strategize for that?
Pair product retargeting using a 90-day cookie window catches people who viewed but didn't buy with lifestyle lookalike audiences to find new potential customers. The source even suggests allocating 20% of your SD budget to placements on sites like Twitch or IMDb, because views there can lead to view-through ranking boosts on Amazon later.
Interesting. Targeting behavior across different platforms.
Exactly. Understanding these different logics, keyword-driven SP, brand equity SB, audience-based SD is key. Aligning your strategy and budget to each helps you dominate the whole ad hierarchy and boosts organic visibility too.
It's a multi-pronged approach. Now, stepping back again, how does Amazon's ad system compare to other big players like Google Ads or Facebook ads? What are the strategic implications if you're advertising across all three?
Yeah, understanding the differences is key. Amazon's auction, as we've said, is optimized for immediate purchase intent on their platform. Bid, relevance, CTR, CVR, and now external signals are crucial.
Focused on the sale right there.
Right. Google Ads is more about query relevance and quality score. Their ad rank is basically your bid times quality score, which depends heavily on how relevant your ad and landing page are to the user's search query, plus your CTR. They're optimizing for the user finding the right information.
Google's about answering the question well. And Facebook.
Facebook ads are more about engagement and user value within their social context. They look at ad quality feedback and estimated action rate, how likely someone is to take the action you want based on their behavior. They prioritize ads people actually interact with.
So maybe Amazon, buy, Google, find, Facebook engage, roughly.
That's a pretty good shorthand for their core priorities. And this leads to different key metrics you need to optimize for.
Okay, what are they?
On Amazon, it's primarily AKS, advertising cost of sales, and optimal range is often cited as 15 to 25%. Crucially, lower AKS on Amazon directly helps boost your organic rank.
Performance metric ties to organic. Got it, Google.
Google Ads. The key is quality score. You want to aim for 7 out of 10 or higher. Why? Because scores at or above 7 can cut your CPC by 20 to 30%.
Big cost saving there. Facebook.
Facebook, you focus on relevant score, aiming for 8 out of 10 or higher. Scores at or above 8 can lower your CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, by a massive 40%.
Well, okay. Very different levers to pull on each platform, so strategically, if you're using all three.
You must tailor your approach. For Amazon, lean into the purchase intent, drive direct sales, and definitely allocate that 20 to 30% of budget to trackable off-Amazon traffic to get those A10 bonuses. Consider automation tools for bidding.
Okay, Amazon sales plus external traffic.
For Google Ads, use hybrid bidding, maybe manual CPC for your brand terms, target ROAS for shopping campaigns. Focus hard on improving that quality score, maybe using responsive search ads, RSAs.
Google. Quality score plus smart betting.
And for Facebook ads, use engaging formats like carousel ads. The source says they get 1.8 times higher CTRs. Use Advantage Plus placements. And you need to A/B test creatives constantly, maybe 5 to 7 new ones per week, because ad fatigue is rapid on social platforms.
Facebook, engagement plus rapid testing. So don't just copy-paste your strategy.
Absolutely not. Use Amazon for conversions and organic lift, Google for capturing broader search intent, and Facebook for brand building and retargeting based on interests and behaviors.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's really dive deep into ranking memory specifics now. First big question. How long does Amazon's system actually remember performance data?
Okay, so the raw data in your reports has limits. Sponsored products data via the ATI is available for 95 days, sponsored brands for 60 days, but the algorithmic influence the actual ranking memory lasts longer.
How much longer?
The A10 algorithm considers performance data going back up to 180 days.
6 months, wow.
Yeah, but it's weighted, as we'll discuss. What's really key is consistent, strong performance. Maintaining a good CTR, like 0.8% or higher, and a good CVR, 12% or higher, for 90 consecutive days or more. That's what builds serious trust.
And that leads to the evergreen status you mentioned?
Exactly. Achieving that status means the algorithm sees you as reliably relevant and converting. It reduces your dependency on constantly needing the highest bid to get good placement.
Makes your bids more efficient long term.
Hugely. And just to reiterate the external traffic point here, campaigns hitting that 15% or more off Amazon click threshold build a really powerful, lasting ranking memory signal. It gives you those 2 to 3 times organic boost, that $15K equivalent, and that benefit persists.
Okay, so if the detailed reports expire after 60, 95 days, how can advertisers track history for longer-term strategy?
You need workarounds for historical analysis. The best way is API integration with third-party tools, Celix, Helium-10, tools like that. They can pull the data frequently and store it indefinitely for you.
So rely on third-party tools for long-term data storage.
That's the most robust way. You can pull lifetime reports from Campaign Manager, but they don't give you that day-to-day granularity you really need for deep analysis.
Does this system create any fairness issues?
Well, the source does point out a significant challenge for small sellers or new products. They often face 40 to 60% higher CPCs initially.
Why so high?
Because they simply lack the historical performance data. They haven't built up that ranking memory or algorithmic trust yet, so they have to bid higher to get visibility against established competitors who have that history.
So the system inherently favors established players with good track records.
It does, yeah. Building that initial history is a hurdle.
Okay, so we know it remembers for a while, with history being a challenge for newcomers. Which specific performance metrics actually feed into this ranking memory? What does the algorithm care about most?
It's really a blend, but some metrics definitely carry more weight. Click-through rate, CTR, is fundamental. The source gives thresholds. Consistently hitting 0.5% or higher over 30 days gives initial boosts.
Okay, 0.5% for start.
But aiming for 0.8% or higher for 90-plus days is what helps you reach that evergreen status. Ads hitting 0.5% get maybe 15-20% more visibility.
So CTR signals relevance right away. What's next?
Conversion rate, CVR, is huge. You need at least 10% baseline, but 12% or higher is where you see real momentum. Campaigns hitting that 12% plus CVR can rank 30% higher, even with 15–20% lower bids. If you sustain that for 180 days, you keep 85% visibility during stock issues.
High CVR proves your listing actually converts clicks into sales. Makes sense.
Then there's sales velocity. Just consistent sales growth over at least 30 days signals demand. And remember, every $1,000 in sales from PPC gives roughly a 15–20% organic uplift. Paid velocity directly fuels organic memory.
The flywheel effect again.
Yep. And again, external traffic attribution. Hitting 15% or more off Amazon clicks triggers that 2 to 3 times organic boost, the $15 guy equivalent. It's a massive validator.
Okay, CTR, CVR, sales velocity, external traffic. What about seller level stuff?
Absolutely. Seller authority metrics matter. Keeping your order defect rate, ODR, below 1% gives a 20 to 30% visibility advantage. Maintaining inventory stability specifically, a stockout frequency of 5% or less preserves 92% of your ranking momentum during restocks, and getting 4 or more verified reviews per week can improve ranking by about 1.8 times.
Wow, so operational excellence is baked right into ad performance memory.
It really is. Finally, historical consistency ties it together. The algorithm looks back 180 days, but weights the most recent 30 days around 60%. So consistently hitting those high CTR, 0.8% plus, and CVR, 12% plus thresholds for 90 plus days is the path to long-term evergreen status. It's this whole package deal.
Okay, that's a comprehensive list. Let's focus on CTR for a moment. How does your historical CTR specifically impact future ad performance and costs?
Historical CTR is a massive signal of relevance. If your ads consistently hit 0.5% CTR or higher over 30 days, you'll see about a 15–20% visibility boost. The algorithm sees it as proof your ad matches the searcher's intent.
So better CTR history means more eyeballs on your ads.
Yes, and cheaper clicks. Sponsored products campaigns hitting 1.2% CTR or higher on exact match keywords can get 35% more impressions, even with 15–20% lower bids.
Lower bids for more impressions, that's efficiency.
Exactly. In the ad rank calculation, CTR history can account for up to 25% of the score. If you achieve that evergreen status with a 180-day CTR of 0.8% or higher, your ads hold top placements, even if you strategically lower bids a bit.
That's a powerful position to be in.
It really is. Campaigns hitting 1.0% CTR or higher for 90-plus days can see their effective CPC drop significantly, sometimes by as much as 40%.
40% lower CPC just from consistent CTR.
It's the algorithm rewarding proven relevance. And this ties into organic too high CTR often leads to sales. And those sales, $1K PPC sales, my money 15–20% organic uplift, boost organic rank. Plus, that external traffic piece, if you drive 15% or more clicks externally and they maintain good CTR, you get the 2–3x organic boost, the $15K equivalent. It all feeds itself.
How long does this CTR history really matter?
Amazon looks back 180 days, but the weighting is key. That power law decay means the last 30 days carry about 60% of the weight. Recent performance is critical.
So a strong month now outweighs a strong quarter from 6 months ago.
Significantly. That's why, for example, if you have a stock out, doing a 7-day ad blitz upon restock with 200–300% bid multipliers to force high initial CTR can help recover 85% of your lost visibility quickly by resetting that recent data.
Okay, so what are the key strategic takeaways for managing CTR history?
Prioritize creative optimization cycles. Refresh images, titles, maybe video every 45 days. This fights creative fatigue, which can kill your CTR by 30% over 60 days. The source also notes video achieves 19% higher CTRs.
Keep the ads fresh. Consider video.
Definitely. Use bid automation and day parting. Tools that predict peak demand, 7–9 p.m. local, and adjust bids can cut CPC by 35%. And keep integrating that external traffic. Allocate 20–30% of budget to trackable campaigns. It lifts overall CTR and boosts organic.
And this is another area where new sellers struggle.
Yes, the source mentions they might need 40–60% higher CPCs because they lack that CTR history buffer. Amazon does have anomaly detection to catch fake clicks, so you need genuine performance.
Build real, consistent CTR. Okay, what about pausing campaigns? That feels risky, given everything we've discussed about history. What happens to ranking memory then?
It's definitely risky, especially for long pauses. The immediate hit is loss of sales velocity. You stop the ad-driven sales, which is a key ranking factor. The source cites studies showing established products can see a 59% drop in organic traffic within just 14 days of pausing ads.
Wow, 59% organic drop in 2 weeks. That's huge.
It shows how tightly linked they are. You also get rapid decay of historical performance data. Even a pause of 7 to 14 days can mean about a 20% visibility loss. Pause for 30 days, you might lose 50% of that historical momentum, potentially losing evergreen status. After 90 days paused, your history's influence is almost gone. It's almost like starting over algorithmically.
So a long pause basically wipes the slate clean for ranking memory purposes.
Largely, yes. This leads to organic ranking erosion. A 30-day pause can cause organic ranks to fall 40% in competitive areas. A 60-day pause is even tougher to recover from. You might need 2 to 3 times higher PPC spend just to regain your old spots.
And reactivating isn't easy either.
Not at all. Restarted campaigns often go back into a 7-14-day learning phase with fewer impressions. Plus, you face bid inflation. Your competitors didn't stop, they likely raised bids. CPCs can jump 30 to 50% in busy markets. You have to rebuild that trust threshold again. CTR or wheel 0.5%, CVR or 10% for 30-plus days.
Is there a case study on this?
Yes, the source mentions one where a campaign paused for 60 days, took 45 days of active spending, and 150% of its original budget just to get back 80% of its previous visibility.
Ouch. Pausing seems expensive in the long run. How can advertisers minimize this damage?
Instead of a hard stop, use gradual bid reductions. Lower bids slowly, maybe 10 to 20% weekly, on weaker terms or during off-seasons. This keeps some data flowing. Maintain inventory buffers. 20 to 30% excess stock helps avoid stockouts that compound the memory loss. And during slow times, maybe divert 15 to 20% of budget to trackable off-Amazon channels to keep some positive signals feeding the algorithm.
So taper off, stay in stock, and keep external traffic flowing if possible. Avoid the cliff edge.
Exactly. Now let's switch to conversion rate, CVR. How does CVR history affect ad placements and costs?
Right, because clicks are great, but sales are better.
Precisely. And Amazon knows this. Strong CVR history is incredibly powerful. If you consistently hit 10% CVR or higher over 30 days, you get a 25 to 30% visibility boost. If you hit 12% or higher, you might get 40% more impressions than someone with 8-10% CVR, even at the same did.
More visibility just for converting well? Does it impact cost too?
Directly. A CVR of 15% or higher can qualify you for low CPC status, potentially cutting costs by 20 to 25%. And campaigns sustaining 12% CVR or higher for 90 straight days often see CPCs drop by 35 to 40%.
35 to 40% cheaper clicks. That's massive.
It is. CVR history can account for up to 30% of your ad rank score. High CVR lets you potentially outrank higher bidders. And it builds deep memory. CVR data is also kept for 180 days, weighted to the recent 30. Products hitting 10% CVR or higher for 90-plus days get that evergreen status, retaining 85% visibility during disruptions.
That resilience factor again.
Yeah, a product with great CVR history, OL 12% for 180 days, can recover full ad rank in just 7 days after a 30-day pause. A newbie might need 2-3x the bids.
Okay, so what are the strategic implications for advertisers trying to boost CVR and its memory effect?
Focus on CVR threshold optimization. Maintain at least 10% to avoid penalties. Actively target 15% or higher to unlock those CPC discounts and dominate top of search. Implement those creative refresh cycles every 45 days. Fatigue can drop CVR by 20 to 30%. Remember, video helps CVR too, maybe by 19%.
Keep the listing converting well.
Yes. Integrate external traffic driving 15% or more attributable clicks externally can provide 2 to 3 times CVR boosts, not just organic lifts. And crucially, manage inventory and pricing stability. Stockouts, 5% or more frequency, can slash your CVR by 40% for 2 weeks after restocking. Big price hikes, over 10%, can depress CVR by 25%.
Inconsistent operations kill CVR, which kills ranking memory.
Exactly. And again, the small seller disadvantage applies needing 40 to 60% higher CPCs due to lack of CVR history. Amazon also has anomaly detection for fake CVR.
So, genuine consistent conversion performance is key. Does ranking memory work the same way across all product categories, or does it vary?
It definitely varies quite a bit. Things like shopper behavior, competition levels, and how quickly products change all impact how ranking memory works in a category.
Like electronics versus, say, home goods.
Exactly. In high-velocity categories like electronics, ranking memory tends to decay faster, maybe within 30 to 60 days. There are constant new models, intense competition. A phone with good CTR might lose half its momentum if paused for 45 days.
Because the market moves so fast, the algorithm's memory fades quicker.
Right. In low-velocity categories like home and kitchen, memory can last longer for established products, maybe 90 to 120 days. That popular cast iron pan with great CVR for 180 days could keep 80% visibility even if bids are lowered.
Competition level matters too.
Hugely. Saturated markets need much higher performance thresholds to maintain memory, maybe 2 to 3 times higher CTR and CVR, like 1.2% plus CTR, 15% plus CVR, compared to less crowded niches. And for seasonal items like apparel, a 30-day pause in the off-season could wipe out 70% of your historical advantage before the next season starts.
So you absolutely need a category-specific strategy. What does that look like?
For high-velocity categories, use short, sharp PPC bursts, 7-14 days with 200-300% bid boosts, and refresh content faster, maybe every 21 days. For low-velocity categories, focus on stable, evergreen campaigns, put 70% of budget on exact match keywords with proven CVR, 90-plus days on 10%, and prioritize low stockout rates, 5%. For seasonal niches, use a preseason buildup, start campaigns 45 days before peak, and a postseason maintenance plan, cut bids by 50% but keep impressions ticking over.
Tailoring the approach to the category's rhythm.
Yes, and this impacts new entrants too. The source notes they might face 40-60% higher CPCs in electronics versus maybe 20-30% in home goods, just due to these category-specific memory effects and competition levels.
It's complex. How does Amazon actually weight recent performance versus older historical data? You mentioned weighting before.
Right, they use a time-decayed weighting mechanism. Think of it like a power law decay function. Recent data matters much more than older data.
How much more?
The source suggests the most recent 30 days account for roughly 60% of the total weight in the ad rank calculation. Data from day 31 back to day 180 makes up the other 40%, but its influence drops off fast decaying, maybe 8 to 12% per week, varying by category.
60% weight on just the last month. Wow. So recent performance is king.
It really is. A CTR of 0.8% sustained for 90 days has 2.3 times more cumulative weight than getting that same CTR for only 30 days. But hitting a high CTR, say 1.2% or higher in the last 7 days, can get you 50% more impressions right now compared to having the same 180-day average but poor recent performance.
That explains why fixing things quickly is so important.
Exactly. That 7-day ad blitz with 200-300% bid multipliers after a stockout works because it aggressively resets that heavily weighted recent data, helping recover 85% visibility. But long-term resilience comes from sustaining performance. Products with CVR 12% or higher for 90-plus days get evergreen status, retain 60% ad rank during 14-day pauses, and can outrank newbies with 15-20% lower bids thanks to that built-up cumulative historical weight.
So how do advertisers strategically leverage this weighting?
For peak period optimization, hit those high-intent hours, 7 to 9 p.m. local, hard. Allocate 50 to 75% of your budget there because recent data gets about twice the algorithmic weighting then. To combat decay, refresh creatives faster and fast decay categories maybe every 21 days. For historical leverage, use 45-day pre-peak campaigns to build up a buffer before busy seasons. Maintain those low stockout rates at 5% to preserve 92% of your historical equity. And consider decay-aware analytics tools that can forecast bid adjustments based on category decay rates and potentially improve ROS by 35%.
Use recent performance tactically, maintain consistency for long-term strength. Okay, how does Amazon track and connect performance data across different campaigns for the same product, like SP, SB, SD, all running for one ASIN?
They use an AS-centric data architecture. Everything revolves around the unique ASIN. The system aggregates all the performance data clicks, impressions, sales, conversions from all campaign types, SP, SB, SD, even external traffic sales, and ties it back to that specific ASIN.
So the algorithm sees the product's total performance, not just isolated campaigns.
Exactly. It gets a unified view. Even if standard reporting uses a simple last-touch model, the ranking algorithm retains multi-touch data. It understands a sponsored display view might influence a later sponsored product click. Your brand analytics data also consolidates at the ASIN level.
That explains how success in one campaign type can lift others, or organic rank.
Yes, it leads to ranking memory synthesis. The A10 algorithm combines data from all campaigns targeting an ASIN. Strong SPCTR plus good SB video views equals a blended, stronger signal. Sales velocity from all sources feeds the ASIN's overall rank, with PPC sales often weighted higher.
Are there tools advertisers can use to manage this cross-campaign view?
Yes, The Amazon Advertising API lets tools pull consolidated ASIN reports. Some third-party tools allow setting ASIN-level goals, like target ACS at 15% for this product, that auto-adjust bids across all linked campaigns. Portfolio automation in Amazon Ads lets you group campaigns by ASIN or product line, so you can shift budget automatically from underperformers, say ACS 25%, to better ones in the same group. And the search term harvesting system correlates terms across campaigns, helping you expand winners or apply negatives universally.
Sounds powerful for managing complex accounts. Any downsides?
Again, the small seller disadvantage. New ASINs just don't have this rich cross-campaign history, making it harder to build synthesized memory. The source suggests this might require 40 to 60% higher bids for them to compete initially.
So leveraging these tools and a unified ASIN strategy is a key advantage for established sellers. What about customer behavioral signals? Beyond just clicks and conversions, what else does the algorithm remember?
Oh, behavioral signals are huge. A10 goes way beyond just CTR and CVR. It synthesizes several metrics. Besides CTR, maybe 25% weight, and CVR, maybe 30% weight. It looks at external traffic share, maybe 20% weight, rewarding or 15% external clicks. Session duration, maybe 10% weight, rewarding longer page views, say 2.5 minutes. Repeat purchase rate, maybe 10% weight for repeat buys within 180 days. Cart addition rate, maybe 3% weight. And review velocity, maybe 2% weight for 4 reviews a week.
Wow, that's a much richer picture of engagement.
It really is.
Yeah.
These signals validate relevance and predict future intent. High CTR CVR builds that relevance lock. Sustained high CVR, 12% for 90 days, leads to sales velocity multipliers, 2-3x organic boost. External traffic, 15% acts as demand validation, 2-3x organic boost, 15 tail equiv. Even passive things like view-through attribution, seeing an ad off-site, searching on Amazon within 7 days, can increase ad rank by 18%.
So pretty much any positive interaction feeds the memory banks.
Yes, and it's weighted with that power law decay. Last 30 days, get 60% weight. That 7-day ad blitz resets the recent behavioral curves. Products hitting strong metrics across the board. CTRU 0.8%, CVRU 12%, external to 15%, maintains 60% ad rank during bid pauses, and can outrank newbies with 20% lower CPCs because they've built deep behavioral trust.
They've proven they engage and convert customers.
Exactly. Amazon also segments users by behavior mobile versus desktop, time of day, purchase history. Ads aligning with high converting segments can get 40% higher CTRs.
Strategic recommendations for leveraging these behavioral signals.
Implement CTR optimization cycles. A/B test directly, refresh every 45 days. Use 300% top of search multipliers during peak hours, 7-9 p.m. local. Engage in external traffic diversification, 20-30% budget to trackable campaigns. Adopt a decay-aware campaign architecture. Phase 1, days 130, maximize initial CTR CVR. Phase 2, days 3190, stabilize and expand.
Yep.
Phase 3, day 91 plus, leverage evergreen status with reduced bids, 20-30% lower.
Cultivating positive behavior across the funnel is key. Now, we know memory varies by category, but does it carry across different marketplaces? Like U.S. performance helping in the UK?
It's a mix. Ranking memory is primarily marketplace specific. Your CTRs, CVRs, sales velocity thresholds are calculated and weighted locally for each region. US, UK, DE, etc. External traffic boosts are usually tied to the marketplace they drive to.
So doing great in the U.S. doesn't automatically give you a head start in Germany.
Not directly for those core campaign metrics. However, Amazon does recognize global seller credibility and brand status. Your overall ODR, order defect rate, below 1% is a global trust signal. Good inventory management globally helps. Brand registry status offers slight advantages, maybe 10-15% faster momentum build in new market.
Okay, so account health and brand status are global, but campaign memory is local. Any indirect cross-border benefits?
Yes. Global influencer content can help multiple markets if it drives traffic effectively using attribution. Brands spending 20% or more globally on social might see 15-20% faster evergreen activation in new markets. ASINs with strong review history in one market tend to get reviews 3 to 5 times faster when launching in a new one.
Interesting. Global brand efforts can grease the wheels locally. Strategic implications.
You need a localized campaign architecture, translated keywords, bids adjusted for local CPCs, AG $1.50 US versus 0.90 DE, but simultaneously leverage global brand equity unified A plus content videos, 12-18% higher CTRs globally, global inventory buffering, A5% stockouts. Be aware of marketplace-specific thresholds for metrics like evergreen CTR, prime CVR, review velocity. They differ.
Global brand, local tactics.
Exactly. And remember the new market penalties.
Yeah.
Entering Germany with no history might mean 30–40% higher CPCs initially versus local incumbents. Data privacy laws like GDPR also mean stricter data separation in places like the EU.
How about mobile versus desktop performance? Does the algorithm treat them differently for ranking memory?
Yes, it tracks and weights them differently. Mobile CTRs tend to be lower, but the algorithm apparently normalizes this with about a 1.2x weighting multiplier. Desktop CVRs are often higher for complex purchases, so desktop CVR might get more weight there. For impulse buys like fashion, mobile CVR might be higher and weighted more.
So it adjusts for typical device behavior.
Right. It also tracks cross-device attribution. Click on mobile, buy later on desktop. The system connects that, giving partial credit to mobile, but prioritizing the desktop CVR signal. Mobile searches often reflect immediate needs, so factors like shipping speed matter more for mobile rankings. Desktop users engage more with A+ content, so time on page might be weighted more there.
Ad placements differ too, right?
Yes, SD ads are more integrated on mobile, while desktop has those big top of search slots. CTR expectations are adjusted. External traffic from mobile, like TikTok, still gets the 2–3x organic boost regardless of where the conversion happens. Mobile voice queries also feed memory, favoring concise titles.
Strategic implications for device signals.
Use device-specific creative optimization. Shorter, visual, urgent for mobile, specs, details, A+ for desktop. Use bid adjustments, maybe 60% budget to mobile for impulse buys. Tailor day parting. Use cross-device retargeting with sponsored display to catch users later on another device.
Optimize creative and bids for how people use each device. Now, a potentially messy one? What happens to ranking memory when a business is sold or account ownership changes?
Oh yeah, that's a major disruption. A huge chunk of ranking memory, the source estimates 30–60%, is tied to the account's history. When ownership changes, things like your historical ODR effectively reset. Your past sales velocity history might lose 40–60% of its weight. Campaigns lose evergreen status and need 30–45 days to rebuild trust. A product getting 0.8 per CTR under the old owner might need 2–3 times higher bids initially under the new one.
Ouch. It's a massive hit to efficiency and visibility. Does anything carry over?
Thankfully, yes. ASLN level metrics retain partial equity. The review history on the ASN stays. Organic search rankings keep 30–50% momentum if inventory stability is maintained through a transfer. And past and ongoing external traffic signals boosting the ASN also continue to help organically.
So the product's own reputation and external signals are more durable than the account's operational history. How can sellers mitigate this during a sale?
Pre-transfer prep is vital. Build up massive inventory buffering, 120–150% of monthly sales, to avoid stockouts during the handover chaos. Do a PPC ramp-up boost bids, 200–300% for 14 days, right before transfer to lock in strong recent signals. Ensure a smooth brand registry transfer for post-transfer recovery. Make gradual account updates, don't change everything at once. Critically, dedicate 25–30% of budget to trackable off-Amazon campaigns to quickly rebuild positive velocity. Use a hybrid campaign architecture, 70% budget on proven historical keywords, 30% on new branded terms to build the new account's equity.
Any specific risks during the transfer itself?
Yes. Watch out for verification suspensions. These can cause 90–100% visibility loss. The reset of biofeedback history can cause a 20–30% organic drop. Making huge campaign restructuring changes immediately can spike ACOS by 40–50% as the algorithm relearns.
So careful planning is essential. Is there evidence this mitigation works?
Yes, the source mentions a case study where a seller regained 85% of organic rankings and 70% of PPC efficiency within 45 days post-transfer by using a combination of a PPC blitz, smooth brand registry transfer, and driving a surge of external traffic, hitting 15% attributable clicks.
So disruptive but manageable with the right strategy. Okay, broadening out again.
Yeah.
How does past campaign performance, success, or failure generally affect the cost of future ads?
Your past performance acts like a reputational score that directly tweaks your ad costs. The A10 algorithm looks at that 180-day history. Consistently good performance, CTR all 0.8%, CVR 12% for 30+ days, leading to evergreen status results in lower effective CPCs, often 20–25% lower.
Cheaper clicks for being a good performer.
Exactly. Algorithmic trust literally pays dividends. Conversely, poor performance costs you more. Campaigns stuck with CTR below 0.3% can see effective CPCs increase by 30–50%. Low CVR, below 5%, can also trigger a 20-25% CPC hike.
It's a feedback loop. Good gets cheaper, bad gets more expensive.
Precisely. There are specific tiers mentioned. Elite performers, CTR 1.2%, CVR of 15%, might see 40-50% CPC reductions, e.g. a $1.50 bid costs sour 90 cents. Average performers see no real change. Poor performers, CTR 0.3%, CVR of 5%, face that 30-50% increase. $1.50 bid costs $2.25 smuts. Campaigns with 90-plus days of strong history keep 85% visibility during pauses and need 15-20% lower bids to reactivate. And again, new sellers lack this history, facing 40-60% higher CPCs.
That really quantifies the financial value of building positive memory.
It does. Operations impact costs too. Frequent stockouts, 4 for 5% frequency, depress future length by 40%, forcing 200-300% bid spikes later. Good fulfillment, a 1% defect rates, grants 15-20% visibility boosts, reducing reliance on high bids.
Strategic advice for managing these cost implications.
Leverage proven performers. Reuse exact match keywords with historical CTR 1.2% for 35% lower CPC. Keep refreshing creatives every 45 days. Mitigate past failures. Prune negative keywords aggressively. Reduces 20-30% wasted spend. Maintain inventory buffering, 120-150% stock. Use cross-channel synergy, 20-30% budget to trackable external. Use day parting, 50-75% bid increases 7-9 p.m.
Proactive management directly controls long-term costs. What about initial poor performance? Does a bad start create lasting damage?
Yes, it absolutely can. The source calls it algorithmic scarring. Campaigns starting with low CTR below 0.3% might get 30-50% fewer impressions over their whole life. Initial CVR below 5% could permanently raise your baseline CPC by 20-25%. Products selling fewer than 10 units in the first 14 days face 40% longer recovery times later on. Missing those early evergreen thresholds means lost bid efficiency, needing 2-3x higher bids later.
Wow, that sounds really hard to overcome, like a permanent black mark.
It can feel like it. A case study showed campaigns starting with ACS over 50% took 45-60 days of intense work just to recover. Poor starters also saw 59% organic drops if ads paused. Bad performance in that critical first 30 days with its 60% weight drags down your score for the full 180 days. A weak first week, CTR 0.2%, could cut future impressions by 35% even if things improve later. This leads to 40-60% higher CPCs and maybe getting locked out of top of search.
Can you recover from this algorithmic scarring?
It's possible, but requires serious effort. You might try to reset campaign identity. ASI and relaunch is drastic. Portfolio isolation is easier. Use aggressive metric optimization. 300%. Top of search bids peak hours to force CTR above 0.5%. Inject external traffic, 20-30% budget. Quickly implement radical content overhauls. A/B test creatives every 7 days until CTR hits 0.5%. Definitely add video, 19% higher CTR.
So aggressive intervention is needed. Now flipping that, can strong organic sales history make up for a poor PPC history?
Strong organic helps, definitely, but it cannot fully compensate. The algorithm weighs different signals. Organic sales build long-term trust, but PPC provides specific keyword validation, immediate velocity, and impression data that organic alone doesn't. Ads with consistently low CTR, like 0.3%, can actually drag down overall sales velocity by 25-30%, hurting organic momentum even if organic sales were okay before.
So the poor PPC performance actively hurts, even with good organic.
It can, yes. Organic success provides a buffer products with 90-plus days of strong organic CVR. 12% might retain 70-80% visibility during PPC pauses, better than weaker products. Strong organic rank reduces the need to bid on those terms, and external traffic or 20% clicks can significantly offset bad PPC history with those 2-3x organic boosts. But if your product relies heavily on ads, 50% ad-dependent sales, you'll still face a 40-60% organic drop if ads pause, regardless of past organic strength.
There's a real tension there. How do you manage this balance strategically?
Leverage organic equity. Use A+ content, video demos, proven to lift CVR 12%. Optimize organic keywords. But you must address the PPC issues too. Use PPC recovery tactics, relaunch, isolation. Maybe allocate 20-30% budget to sponsored brands to rebuild keyword trust. Push hard on external traffic integration. 15-20% spend on trackable social. The goal is a balanced ecosystem where organic and paid reinforce each other. You can't ignore PPC problems just because organic looks okay.
Build strength in both areas. Okay, briefly touching on the tech side, the machine learning models, any strategic takeaways for advertisers there?
The specifics of the models aren't as important as the implications. One interesting point from the source is the likely use of fairness constraints.
What does that mean?
It means the AI models might be intentionally designed to reduce certain biases. The source suggests this aims to narrow the CPC gap for new sellers, maybe reducing it from a potential 60% disadvantage down to around 30% in competitive niches, trying to level the playing field a bit.
That's a positive implication. Anything else on how the AI works strategically?
The balance between historical and real-time data is key. Strategically, you need to maintain historical equity, hit those evergreen thresholds. CTR or 0.8%, CVR 12% for 90-plus days. But also, optimize real-time signals using day parting, 50-75% bid boosts, 7-9 p.m., and external traffic. And actively mitigate decay with creative refreshes every 45 days. Small sellers still face higher initial CPCs, but aligning with this balance is crucial for everyone.
How does the system handle anomalies or weird performance patterns?
It uses AI detection. Strategically, this means regular creative refresh cycles every 45 days help avoid fatigue being flagged as an anomaly. Using bid automation tools that predict demand can smooth out bids and potentially avoid triggers, reducing ACS by 35%. There are some safeguards mentioned, like 30-day grace periods for small sellers to fix issues, and inventory buffers help stock out decay as halved, 40% to 20% if you restock within 72 hours.
Consistent operations help avoid triggering alarms. What about the sheer scale of computation?
For advertisers, the takeaway is that Amazon's system is built for immense speed and complexity. This likely means future ad systems will be even faster, rewarding those who can optimize almost in real time. It reinforces the need for sophisticated tools.
The tech power dictates the need for sophisticated strategy and tools. Okay, let's really focus now on the explicitly strategic sections from the source, starting with advice for new sellers building ranking memory.
Right, this is a critical roadmap. Step 1 is foundational preparation. That means nailing your listing optimization, integrate keywords, use exact match early, add A+ content and video, that 19% plus CTR boost, and get reviews fast, use Vine or similar to get 10-15 reviews in 4-6 weeks.
Optimize the listing, get initial reviews, crucial first steps.
Absolutely. Then structure your campaign architecture in phases. Phase 1, days 130. Go heavy on automatic campaigns, 70% budget, 200-300% bid multipliers for discovery. Simultaneously run manual exact match on 5-10 promising long tails with 150% of suggested bids to force CTR above 0.5%.
Auto for discovery, aggressive exact for early wins.
Phase 2, days 3160. Pullback bids, 20-30% on losers based on data. Expand to broad phrase with dynamic bids, 100% on winners. Phase 3, days 6190. Diversify into sponsored brands display. All along, do weekly negative keyword management to cut 20-30% wasted spend.
Phased approach based on data. What about budgets and bids?
Be aggressive initially. Use bid adjustments, 50-75% higher during peak hours, 7-9 p.m., and 300-400% multipliers for top of search placements. Accept a higher ACOS tolerance at first, maybe 40-60% to build that crucial initial momentum. Aim to reduce it to 25-30% later.
Invest early to build memory.
Yes, and external traffic integration is vital for newbies. Drive trackable clicks. Aim for 15% external traffic for the 2-3x organic boosts. Use email if you have it. Ensure inventory operational stability. Use FBA. Prime helps at 5% stockouts preserves 92% momentum. Use predictive restocking tools, 95% accuracy. Finally, build algorithmic trust. Avoid frequent pauses. 7-day gaps erode 20% memo. Work relentlessly towards those evergreen thresholds. CTR 0.8%, CVR 12% for 90-plus days.
That's a very clear, actionable plan for new sellers. How can established sellers accelerate building positive ranking memory? Speed things up.
This is about compressing that initial learning curve. Use aggressive bid strategies. Phase 1, days 114. 300-500% bid multipliers for top of search. Put 70% of budget on auto or exact match targets. Use day parting with 60% of bids on peak hours. Goal: hit CTR 0.5% and CVR of 10% within just 2 weeks.
Super aggressive start.
Yes. For keyword optimization, dominate with exact match, 10-15 terms, 150-200% bids. Remember, exact match gets 35% higher CTRs. Prune negatives ruthlessly. Target competitor ace signs, 110-120% of their CPC. Implement rapid content refreshes. Rotate images video every 21 days. One case study showed a 27% CTR increase from this. Use A+, 19% higher CVR.
Faster refresh cycle, attack competitors.
Crucially, Push external traffic hard. Drive 15–20% of total clicks via trackable links. 2–3x organic boosts, 15K equivalent. Use nano-influencers, 3x higher CVRs. Ensure solid inventory pricing. FBA, 15–20% visibility. Knockout prevention, ever 5% preserves 92%. Dynamic repricing. Use sponsored brands with multi-product carousels. Video, 25% higher CTRs. Run SB and SP concurrently for 30% higher keyword relevance.
It sounds like throwing everything at it. Very intensely managed.
It is. Use analytics-driven bidding. Maintain CTR 0.8%, CVR 12% for 30-plus days. Use predictive tools, 35% higher ROAS. The goal is to compress the 90-day cycle into 30–45 days. Aim for day 30, CTR 0.8%, CVR 2%, 15% external traffic. Day 60, evergreen status, 60–80% retention. Day 90, organic sales, 50%.
A clear, fast-track plan. What about product launches specifically? How does ranking memory factor into launch strategy?
It's central to a successful launch. Launch timing matters. Aim for peak periods, Q4 Prime Day for initial velocity, or 15 units day needed. Avoid saturation. Have 120–150% inventory ready. Use FBA, 15–20% boost.
Time to write, stock up, use FBA.
Then structure your advertising strategies for memory building. Use that phase PPC architecture. Phase 1, days 114, 70% auto, 300 and 500% peak bids. Phase 2, days 15–30. Migrate to exact match winners, reduce ACS 25%, drive 15% external traffic for the 2–3x organic. Focus on creative metric synergy. Refresh every 45 days, combats 19% drop. Push for evergreen thresholds. For post-launch sustainability, use decay mitigation, day parting, automation, use competitive defense, ASIN targeting 110–120% CPC stable pricing. The timeline mirrors the acceleration plan. Day 30 hits metrics, day 60 sees 50–60% organic, day 90 achieves evergreen, 60–80% retention.
Launches require that same aggressive, data-driven approach to build memory quickly.
What about long-term planning? How do you sustain this? Long-term is about cultivating algorithmic trust. Maintain evergreen status, CTR 8.8%, CVR or 12%, 90-plus days for 20–25% lower bids. Manage decay, 70% budget high performers. Kept up content refreshes, 45 days. Use A+, 19% CTR. Ensure solid inventory apps. AB 5% stockouts, minus 92% momentum. FBA 15–20%, predictive 95%. Optimize budget bid, portfolio diversification, dynamic allocation, peak bids, 50–75%, 7–9 p.m., gradual reductions, 10–20% weekly. Continuously invest in external traffic brand equity, 20–30% budget TikTok Insta, 15% clicks, minus 2–3x organic, brand protection. Use predictive analytics AI.
Consistent effort across the board.
Yes. The source suggests a 180-day roadmap, months 1–3 hit metrics, months 4–6 expand campaigns, stabilize ops, month 7 plus leverage evergreen status.
How does PPC ranking memory specifically influence organic search positions? We touched on this, but let's be precise.
PPC memory acts like algorithmic equity for organic. Sustained PPC success, evergreen status, CTR 0.8%, CVR or 12%, 90-plus days, makes organic rankings more resilient, retaining 60–80% visibility during pauses. Every $1,000 in PPC sales gives a 15–20% organic boost for those keywords. High-performing exact match ads train the algorithm on relevance. External traffic, or 15% clicks, provides 2–3x organic boosts, 15K equiv. Even display view-throughs help, 18% rank increase.
So PPC spend is an investment in organic rank.
Absolutely. The strategic takeaway. Treat PPC as investment in organic memory. Be mindful of cannibalization risk, though. High organic rank plus ad, potentially 8–12% lower organic CTR.
What's the specific link between paid history and organic keyword relevance?
Paid history acts as algorithmic collateral here. Strong PPC performance, evergreen thresholds, locks in sustained organic visibility for those specific keywords. $1 K PPC sales, minus 15–20% organic boost for those keywords. High-performing PPC keywords, exact match, CTR 1.2%, more 35% more organic impressions. Signal strong fit, potentially boosting related terms organically too via AI. External traffic, 15% clicks, ads, trust multipliers. 2–3x organic boost. View-throughs help, 18% visibility.
Paid performance proves relevance organically. Strategic actions.
Bid aggressively on high-intent exact match to lock in 60–80% organic visibility later. Refresh creatives, 45 days to fight keyword fatigue, CTR drops, 19%. Allocate 20–30% budget to external traffic for trust execs. Over-reliance on PPC, 50% ad sales, minus 40–60% organic drop if paused. Gradually shift to 70% exact phrase over 90 days. Conclusion. PPC history is collateral. Sustained excellence turns spend into organic equity, cutting ACS 25–30%.
Build organic strength via smart paid investment. How do external traffic sources specifically interact with ranking memory?
External traffic is a direct positive signal. It validates demand beyond Amazon. Driving traffic from TikTok, Instagram influencers increases sales velocity. Those 15% plus attributable clicks yield the 2-3x organic boosts, $15 k equiv. High-intent external shoppers often convert much higher, 58.6% plus from TikTok shops versus 30-40% internal, signaling product desirability.
So external traffic is a direct algorithmic booster plus higher conversion potential.
And Amazon incentivizes it with the brand referral bonus, average 10% credit on sales via attribution links. Nano influencers are noted for 3x higher CVRs. This synergy enhances memory evergreen status achieved with external traffic holds visibility better, 60-80% during pauses. Risks. Non-converting traffic, 5% CVR, risks distrust, SLADR flag. Creative fatigue applies. Refresh external creatives every 45 days, combat 19% decay.
Strategic recommendations for external traffic.
Leverage high-intent platforms, 20-30% budget to TikTok Insta-shoppable, 58.6% plus CVR. Optimize attribution links diligently. Balance traffic quality. Focus on converting audiences, retargeting, CVR, 10%.
External traffic is clearly a huge lever. Does Amazon consider off-platform sales history, like from your own website?
No, not directly. Ranking memory doesn't look at your Shopify sales numbers, but it indirectly rewards bringing those buyers to Amazon and converting them there.
So drive the traffic to Amazon and make the sale on Amazon.
Exactly. That's why trackable campaigns using Amazon attribution are crucial. Those 15% plus attributable clicks get the 2-3x organic boosts, $15 k equiv. Third-party impressions leading to an Amazon search view-through help rank 18% increase. So the activity of bringing external customers to Amazon contributes to velocity and evergreen status.
Strategic recommendations here.
Yeah. Use trackable campaigns with attribution everywhere externally. Leverage influencer partnerships, nano influencers 3x CVR. Implement creative refresh cycles, 45 days, externally too. Note the small seller disadvantage, 40-60% higher bids if not using external traffic effectively.
Indirect to powerful. How does the PPC organic relationship vary by category?
Highly variable, high competition electronics. Organic boost from PPC is slower, harder. Home and kitchen, lower CPCs. PPC accelerates organic faster, less cannibalization. Impulse, apparel. Ads often have higher CTRs, directly boosting organic relevance. Considered purchase industrial. Weaker immediate impact needs sustained PPC. External traffic synergy stronger in grocery, 15% plus minus 2-3x boost. Seasonality toys. Q4 PPC boosts organic 40-50%, but post-holiday drops are steep.
Different dynamics need different strategies.
Yes. Align tactics. Beauty. High bid exact plus influencers. Books. Low CPC broad plus A+. Automotive. Competitor ASI and targeting plus dynamic bids. Cannibalization varies. Electronics 10-15% CTR loss. Home minimal. Algorithm nuances differ too. Sports weights recent sales 70%. Electronics decay faster 12% weekly versus grocery 5%.
Tailoring is essential. What role does ranking memory play in Amazon's recommendation engine? Recommended for you.
It's fundamental. Products with strong, sustained performance, evergreen CTR, 0.8%, CBR 12%, 90-plus days, are much more likely to be featured. This history trains the recommendation models, Lambda Mart, BERT. Evergreen products retain visibility, 60-80%, including in recommendation slots. 1K ad sales minus a 15-20% boost in organic recommendation likelihood. Stable inventory, almost 5% stockouts minus 92% visibility keeps you in recommendations. External traffic accelerates evergreen status, boosting recommendation chances. Recent data matters, 60% weight.
So good performance gets you recommended more. How does competitor activity impact your ranking memory?
It can significantly erode it. Their aggressive bids reduce your impression share. A 30% drop in your share can cause a 15-20% CTR decline, hurting your recent data. Their high bids might dominate top of search, 70% plus impressions. Their sales steal your velocity, 1K lost sales, minus 15-20% organic drop. Exploiting your stockouts can let them permanently claim 40-60% of your historical velocity. Their keyword shifts can dilute your relevance, 10-15% CTR drop. Their evergreen status can suppress your visibility.
Competitor actions directly damage your metrics and memory. Countermeasures.
Bid optimization. Day parting, 50-75% peak. Portfolio isolation, 200-300% TOS multipliers on key terms. External traffic leverage. 15% clicks 9-2-3x, organic boost offsets CTR drops. Nano influencers 3x CVR, boost conversion signals. Creative inventory resilience. Refresh 45 days, fights 19% decay. FBA 120-150% stock, avoid stockout penalties.
Stay agile, drive external, protect inventory.
Yes. Avoid shiny tactics. SLIDR flags 300% CTR spikes. Small sellers face 40–60% higher CPCs and need strong branding behind. Competitor activity is an algorithmic disruptor requiring proactive defense.
What's the specific impact of high competition on memory dynamics?
It intensifies everything. Recent data gets more weight, 70% decay is faster, 12% weekly electronics versus 5% home.
Right.
Thresholds for evergreen are higher, CPR 0.8% plus, CVR 12% plus 3 kiloglock velocity. External traffic is more critical, aim for 25% plus for 3–4x organic boost, 25K equiv. Stockouts are more punishing, 5%, 50% rank depression. Price increases hurt more, 10%, $30% CVR drop. Creative refreshes may be needed faster, 30 days. Bid aggression, 300–500% TOS, is normal. New seller barriers are highest, 50–70% higher CPCs.
My competition faster, tougher game.
How do market leaders sustain their advantages?
Through an evergreen campaign architecture. Maintain CTR, 0.8% CVR, 12% 90-plus days, 20–25% lower CPC. Integrate external traffic, 15% clicks minus 2–3x, organic 15K. Ensure inventory price stability, AOE of 5%, stock out, minus 92% momentum. Use competitive defense, ASI and targeting 110–120%, branded protection. Optimize creative. Refresh, 45 days, 19% decay, A plus 15–20% CVR. Use advanced tools, predictive analytics, DCO. Adhere to ethical safe.
It's a holistic, continuous effort. Yes. The source shows leaders have 25–30% lower CPC, 60–80% organic retention, 15–20% ACOS. New entrants face 40–60% higher CPC, 50–70% recovery, 30–40% ACOS.
Clear advantage. Can challengers break through?
Difficult but possible. Challenges. Lacking data, 40–60% higher CPC, evergreen lock-in, cannibalization. Strategies. External traffic, 15% nice, 2–3x organic, NAN or 3x CVR. Niche targeting, long tail 150–200% bids. Aggressive PPC, bid sprints, 300–500% peak. Content inventory agility, refresh 21–30 days, FBA 120–150% stock.
Focus. External traffic agility.
Yes. Timeline. Launch, 130 days, external exec, MIPE CTR, 0.5%, CVR, 10%. Growth, 31–60 days, migrate winners, long tail 200% bid biz, bi-weekly creative, minus 1.2% CTR.
Yeah.
Risks. Fraud, budget 2–3x initial. Conclusion, agility can beat legacy.
What market conditions rapidly change the importance of historical memory?
Conditions that prioritize real-time signals. Seasonal surges, Q4 Prime Day. Recent data dominates. History decays 8–12% faster. Need 200–300% bid boosts. Stockouts, 5–7 plus days. Erode equity 40–60%. Need 150–200% bids restock. Maintain 120–150% buffer. Economic downturns. Shift focus to value keywords. Adjust budget 20–30%. Competitive disruptions. Erode evergreen unless countered. External traffic influx, 15% clicks. Can rapidly reset memory, 2–3x organic. Algorithm updates. Can suddenly shift weighting, e.g. video, need fast adaptation.
Volatility makes recent performance paramount.
Exactly. History is a base, but current dynamics weight it. Recommendations. Preload bids, 30–45 days, pre-peak, day part heavily. Use SD retargeting coupons, post-stock out. Use attribution during downturns.
What metrics should advertisers track to really understand their ranking memory performance?
Key metrics telling the story. CTR, AIM 0.8% evergreen. CVR, AIM 12% trust. ACS, AIM 25%, 15–20% evergreen. Sales velocity, AIM 15 units day organic boost. Keyword rankings, core terms, organic sales percentage, AIM 50%, track external impact 15%. Inventory stability, AIM 5% stockouts. Customer reviews, 4.5 stars over week. Impression share, AIM 70%. ROAS, AIM 4x.
A dashboard of algorithmic health.
Yes. Strategic actions like day parting, 60% peak, and creative refresh, 45 days, directly influence these. Tracking them together shows if you're building equity.
How do you measure the specific impact on advertising costs?
Analyze cost changes against performance history. Track ACOS, 15–25% lower evergreen. Track effective CPC, 20–30% lower high CTR. Monitor CPC during pauses, 60–80% visibility or attention evergreen. Track organic versus paid ratio shift. Track keyword ranking stability, 180-day CTR UO 1.2%, now 50% lower bids. Analyze stockout recovery costs. MSI percent stockouts midnight 85% recovery 7 days, 20–30% smaller CPC hikes. Use A/B testing on campaigns with different history. Use Amazon attribution. 15K PPC saving from external. Use tools like Celix A10 Optimizer, forecast bait 12% decay. Analyze decay rates, 70% budget recent performers.
Robust analysis connecting history to current costs. How do you balance short-term performance needs with long-term ranking memory building?
A dual-focus strategy. Short-term, use SP exact match with aggressive bids, 300–500% peaks, 7–9 p.m. Deals, day parting, 67% peak budget. Long-term, use SP for brand equity, auto campaigns, 20–30% budget for discovery. ACE on defense, 110–120% competitor CPC.
Aggressive SP now, strategic SP auto defense for later.
Right. Use mixed bid budget strategies, aggressive plus gradual reduction, 10-20% weekly. Diversify portfolios. Optimize content inventory. Refresh 45 days, 19% decay. A plus video 15-20% CVR. Inventory 120-150%. Predictive 95%. Integrate external traffic heavily. 15% clicks minus 2-3x. Organic $15. Nano 3x CVR. Hit metric thresholds for evergreen, CTR 0.8, CVR 12, 90 plus, ACO velocity 15-day, 5% stock out.
A comprehensive framework balancing now versus later.
Yes. Timeline. Day 30, head metrics external. Day 90, approach evergreen, ACOS 25%. Day 180, organic Q, 50-60%.
Okay, this has been incredibly detailed. It's clear mastering Amazon's ranking memory isn't just about running ads.
Not at all. It's about actively cultivating a reputation with the algorithm, built on consistent, measurable performance across a whole range of factors.
Turning those clicks and sales into lasting algorithmic equity.
Exactly, which reduces your costs and your dependency on just outbidding everyone else in the long run.
So the big question for you listening is, how can you start treating your ad spend less like a daily cost and more like an investment in that long-term algorithmic trust?
Think about the strategies we discussed: external traffic, operational excellence, dynamic optimization based on data decay.
It really shifts the perspective on how to succeed on Amazon. Consider where your strategy might be too short-sighted. How can you start building that historical equity starting today?